Hey guys, Corrie here with the Hip Kit, or on the Hip Kit YouTube channel. And I'm just going to do a page today with this cool floral acetate paper that came in the pattern papered add-on kit in June with Hip Kit. So it's just a really cool kind of paper, a transparency type of deal, and I love it. So I love to use these kind of papers to do hidden journaling because I can get what I want on the page, but it doesn't have to be front and center. And it's usually when it's a story that I really want to tell, but I just don't necessarily want it to be like boom right there on the front. So I tried to use a really cool punch on this paper, and basically I just ended up jamming it up. And so I was a little bit upset with myself about that because I was hoping that I didn't break this punch, but I didn't. I ended up getting it all unjammed, but I realized that this transparency paper, it doesn't need to go through that punch. Some transparencies do go through just fine, but this one didn't. So I used my paper trimmer instead. And then with some paper clips, I'm just going to keep it right there. And then I'm going to use my sewing machine to stitch it down on the side so that when you want to look at the journaling, you just fold it up kind of like a book page. This is one of my favorite ways to do hidden journaling, and it's usually because a lot of the times it's because it's things that I want to say that I guess like I just want someone to work a little harder to be able to read. Sometimes it's, you know, by design because I just don't want to show it. Sometimes it's because I've actually got extra pictures and I do more of a 2-pager and I put that underneath. This time really it's just because it is the cutest story that I want to keep for forever. But I think that whoever wants to read the story really does need to work harder at it. So I'll give you a recap of what it is. The other night we were sitting there, and this is my 14-year-old, and she has her whole life planned out for her apparently. She talked about who she's going to date in college, where she was going to go to college, what he was going to do after college, and then what she then wants to do, which is ultimately to be a stay-at-home mom, and then goes on to talk about how she wants to go to church every Sunday, or that they'll go to church every Sunday and then have pancakes after church every Sunday. And I thought this, like, the whole story just went on and on and on. She wants to have like 5 kids, and she's got names picked out for 3 of them already. I don't know. She had a lot of plans, and she was just adamant that this is what her future was holding. And so I sat there with my phone and I wrote all of this stuff down because, oh my gosh, you have to be able to have the story recorded. So that's what I did. I recorded it all down, wrote it down, and then I wrote it out here on this because I think someday it's going to be hilarious for her to look back on. So in between some of the journaling, I'm just gonna layer in some of these cool like little phrase stickers that came in the kits. And I'm just putting them kind of here and there. If they worked out well with the sentence, I tried to put it in there. And had I done a really good job with my journaling planning, I would have worked these in a little bit better than they're able to go in right now. But I'm not going to complain too much because I still like the way that it all turned out. And they still work really well all on this page. Once I got done with this part, I did flip back to the front because primarily I'm just going to embellish this on the acetate paper. I just felt like the journaling needed to be covered up more, and embellishments are the perfect way for that to happen. So once I'm done with these stickers, I'm just going to go back to the front and start getting things together on there. I love this little tag sticker that says "Say What." It works so great with the story and all of the details of her future because in a way it was somewhat shocking to us that she had so many details, that she's thought about this so much, but then also like what she just is so adamant about doing. So it was pretty funny. And then I'm going to use a Project Life card. I do love using Project Life cards for layers. They work out great. And so I'm just going to use this cool one that says Noted. Again, it works really well with, you know, having written down this story and obviously wanting to keep it for forever. On this, I do end up just, in case it comes up, I do adhere down this like cluster with the photo and everything else onto the acetate paper just using hot glue. I actually considered using something other than hot glue because I was afraid that you would be able to see the glue marks behind when you would flip it up. But then I sat there thinking about it and I was like, who cares? You know, I mean, it's not like I was really too worried then about people like flipping it up and being like, oh my gosh, there's glue right there. So I figured just getting it adhered down was going to be the best thing at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and put my title on now. And what I am using, I'm actually just putting these letters on the edge of this little piece of like paperish, shiny paper stuff that stickers come on. That way they can slide off pretty easily and I can keep them in line. I usually use my ruler, but with this one I figured I needed a little bit more precision, and so this little piece of paper worked really well. And the title of this page is Her Future Plans. And then once I get this part on, I do go ahead and adhere down that cluster so that I can get plans on there. Well, I did use a staple as well to kind of make sure that it was, you know, on there a little bit more. Sometimes I worry that hot glue doesn't always hold when it's plastic on plastic, but this is paper on plastic, but still the plastic sometimes makes it so it's pretty easy to peel off the hot glue, and so an extra staple or even some stitching goes a long way to make sure that things stay on there securely. So I'm going to finish getting that title on now so that I can keep on with my embellishments. I really love these little smaller alphas that came in the June kits. Black is always a great color and the font is just classic, but the small letters, the small size is just awesome. It is so versatile, and you can have a longer title, which is great because it doesn't take up as much space. I thought these were just really, really fun. I did go ahead and get all of the kits again this month. I do love that because it helps me keep my stash up, because it's really the only thing that I get. And so I love to be able to use them. Plus it's great because from month after month, the extra pieces I can usually reuse and mix together. Plus, I love embellishments, so it's really hard not to get them. Like the Project Life kit, I debate it every now and then. I'm like, should I get it? Should I not get it? Like the journaling cards really don't do, I mean, they're really cute, but like I don't use them all the time because I don't do Project Life. But I find that I use them a lot for layering, and I absolutely love the extra embellishments that come in that Project Life kit. That Project Life kit is jam-packed with stuff, and I just love that. So now I'm using these little labels. I'm using these to just go up and down my page, just right on top of the transparency. And I just am pulling out colors that coordinate with the yellow and then are also in the photograph. So there's a lot of different greens, orange, yellow, so on and so forth. So just using those great little labels up and down there. They're great because it's kind of like a little pattern paper. And I just really love the way that it looks when you layer those up the page. You could also use them for banners. That's another fun way to use these types of labels. Try to get another one on there in a little bit of a pink. Maybe it's more of a salmon color, but it's cute, and I just wanted a little bit of hint of that on there as well. And then I went through all of the little die cut pieces and pulled out all of the flowers. So I thought the flowers would be perfect since the acetate paper is a floral paper. And so I'm just finding every little flower from all the different die cuts packages, and I'm just layering those up on top of my the labels that I put on. I did find so many great and cute little flowers. I didn't use any of the large ones, just the small. And I do find that sometimes I struggle a little bit with some flowers because I don't know, I'm like sitting there like, I'm not a flowery person, it doesn't work. But when I had this acetate paper back there, it worked perfectly. The other little die cut that I found that was awesome, it's a Dream Big Babe, which, oh my gosh, was so perfect because in case, okay, so in her story, she is going to date a football player at UGA, University of Georgia, who then is going to go pro. So this is her dream, right? So I figured the Dream Big Babe was definitely appropriate for her future plans. It's just so funny how you're like going through these different stickers or the different die cuts and things like that, and all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, that works perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get that adhered down too. And then I was looking at this and I was like, it just needs a little bit more color. I don't know what it is. I sat here looking at it going, okay, this just seems a little bit too white. I needed something else, something to make it look a little messier, or I don't know, splotchier, something. So I pulled out a piece of very well used palette paper and the shimmers that I got, and this is the peach color, and just added a little bit of water to make it kind of soupy, and then I am just going to use it to put some splatters on my page. I want these to actually go underneath the acetate paper, so I get it and I'm just going to hold it up and just go ahead and put the splatters right on the page. What's great is I'm not worried about, I mean, if it gets on the words, awesome, like I don't have a problem with that. And if it gets on the stickers, I don't have a problem with that either. So I'm just sitting there going, this is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this extra color on the page, and I feel like that's going to make it more like how I would make it if the journaling was actually just front and center and not here on the back. So the only issue I had with this was the fact that it was then wet and I had to sit there and hold this little piece up for it to dry. I did try to like prop it up and eventually figured out something that would work to prop it up. But yeah, so once that was dry, I was able, see, I'm like holding, but once it was dry, yay, so happy. And there it is. Story on the inside, page is all there. And here it is, and a few details for you. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them for me in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure you head over to Hip Kit Club and pick up your June kits if you haven't already, because they are truly, truly amazing. Have a great one. Bye.